everybody, it's Tucker Silva at 98.5 The Sports Hub, co-host of the Fantasy Football Show on Sunday mornings from 8 to 10 a.m. with myself and Mike Lockhart. And I hope you took my advice last week, folks, because I gave you quite the stack with quarterback Kyler Murray and Christian Kirk, who absolutely went nuts last week against the Buccaneers. So if you went with those guys, chances are that you did have yourself a nice day on DraftKings. So with that being said, let's take a look at Week 11. And I'm going to give you another stack this week. We'll talk about the wide receiver in just a minute. But let's first start off with Carolina Panthers quarterback Kyle Allen, who's filled in admirably for the injured Cam Newton so far this year. And Kyle Allen, I love his price tag at $5,300. I liked what I saw last week. He was on a tough spot against the Green Bay Packers on the road in Lambeau Field. It was the first time that he threw for over 300 yards this season. So this week, things get much easier as the Falcons are among the 10 most favorable matchups for opposing passers in fantasy football, even after their surprising win last week against the New Orleans Saints. And I chalk that up to Drew Brees just not having a good game and the Saints offense overall being, asleep at the wheel, for lack of a better term, against the Falcons coming off a bye week. So it wasn't really so much a factor for the Falcons defense, so I'm not worried about them whatsoever. Kyle Allen and the Carolina Panthers offense should roll Sunday, so roll with Kyle Allen as your quarterback at $5,300. At running back, I'm looking at Raiders rookie running back Josh Jacobs at $6,900, and this is as chalk gets in terms of DraftKings picks. This is going to be high ownership, and I don't care. Jacobs has been a machine over the past few weeks, and now he's home against the Cincinnati Bengals. And if you haven't been paying attention, this Raiders team is legit and can easily challenge for even the number 5 or number 6 seed in the AFC playoff picture. And Jacobs himself, he has over 100-plus yards from the line of scrimmage in 3 of his last 4 games, and he also has 3 touchdowns in his past 2 games. And the Bengals, I mentioned them, they are atrocious. They have the 3rd most rushing yards per game to backfields in a game that should see Jacobs cruise past 20 touches. So I don't care if it's going to be high ownership. Josh Jacobs at $6,900. Plug him in, set it, and forget it. So the wide receiver to stack with Kyle Allen this week is going to be DJ Moore, who's just red hot for the Carolina Panthers. And at $5,900, this is a bargain of a price tag. I really think that Moore should be entering the $7,000 price tag range in the near future because of his hot streak. So take advantage of this price tag at $5,900. Moore has surpassed 100 yards receiving for 2nd consecutive week, and he's seen 8+ targets in every game this season except for 2, and those games were in the transition where Cam Newton was hurt and they transitioned to Kyle Allen, so they were just trying to work out the kinks there. But now it seems like these two have legit chemistry. And like I said, this is going to be a big stack that pays off, similar to Kyler Murray and Christian Kirk last week. And Moore, he's going to draw the coverage of Atlanta Falcons cornerback Isaiah Oliver this week. And Oliver has allowed the 2nd most yards after catch at 271, and opposing wide receivers have averaged 13.4 yards per reception against Oliver. So DJ Moore, his hot streak is going to continue in what's going to be a high-scoring game with the Panthers and the Falcons. So plug him in at $5,900 in your wide receiver slot. All right, so at a tight end, I'm going to continue my recent theme over the past few weeks in spending cheap at this position. And I don't blame you if you want to spend on more expensive options like a Mark Andrews or Darren Waller or even a Jared Cook of the Saints. But I still want to spend cheap here just because tight end, anything can happen in the red zone, right? So I know this guy disappointed last week, but it's not his fault. I do not blame him. And I'm talking about Ryan Griffin of the Jets at $2,900. He disappointed last week, but that's because the Jets were trying to make things work with Chris Herndon, who finally made his return last week. And shocker, he got hurt again, and he's done for the year. So now Ryan Griffin gets back as the primary tight end for the New York Jets. And this week, it's a great spot against the Washington Redskins on the road. And if you want McCaffrey or a more expensive option like Thomas in your lineup. But Griffin is the kind of guy that you want in your lineup if you want to spend at more expensive positions, like a Christian McCaffrey or Michael Thomas, who are getting astronomical in price. So Griffin, prior to last week, he saw 12 total targets for 10 catches and 116 yards with 2 touchdowns scored against the Jacksonville Jaguars a couple weeks ago. So last week, I scrap it out because things were messed up with Chris Herndon entering the mix. So now Griffin is back to being the primary tight end for the New York Jets. So plug him in at 2,900 and hope for the best. And my pick at defense and special teams is going to be the New England Patriots at 3,500. It's a decent price tag. It's not the most cheap option because the Patriots have been so elite this year, but I firmly believe that the Patriots are going to be very low owned. Coming off the bye week, they're on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles, who can make things happen on the offensive side of the ball. And the last time we saw the Patriots, their defense just got thrashed on Sunday Night Football against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. That defense was not good that night. So, with that said, I think that on DraftKings, the Patriots defense is going to be very low owned. I still believe in this defense. I still think they're very elite. I know that there's been a lot of commentary about the Patriots haven't played anybody really, and that the Ravens were their first big challenge. But that being said, I still believe in this defense. There's so many playmakers on that side of the ball. And don't rule out that the Patriots will be playing with the chip on their shoulder in kind of a revenge of the Super Bowl that we all hated, that loss. But this defense is going to be playing with the chip on their shoulder. I think they're going to bounce back coming off the bye week. And Carson Wentz for the Eagles has looked iffy all year long. So I expect the Patriots to take full advantage and make Wentz look silly in this game. So plug them in at 3,500, the New England Patriots. And those are my Week 11 DraftKings picks for this week. And if you want more insights, you can listen to myself and Mike Lockhart on Sunday mornings from 8 to 10 a.m. on 98.5 The Sports Hub on the Fantasy Football Show. So good luck, everybody. We'll see you next week.